Hello, I'm back with another Sims 4 era house build. This time it's Second Empire style houses. The Second Empire refers to the reign of Napoleon III from 1852 to 1870. These houses were commonly built in 1855 to 1885. One of the biggest features of these houses is that mansard roof, I think is the way to pronounce it. You can see it's very steep, goes to a flat surface, and I guess we'll get into the build. At the beginning of this video, you'll see me circling over there. All the, I forget what the neighborhood is called for The Sims 4, but the vampire one, most of the houses in that area are actually Second Empire style houses. They have the mansard roof and the big pillar and stuff like that. So this build took me a while to kind of I spend most of the time on the roofing because trying to get that steep roof to a flat surface was probably the hardest thing without getting the roof to clip through it. So I did the best I could with it. I think there's, compared to the picture, there is like a flat surface roof instead of a mansard roof because it was just too hard to get it perfectly aligned. I think my other issue with this build was the crowning that I used. I couldn't get quite the color I wanted, so I kind of compromised with it. And I don't know. This build could have been better in many ways. I liked the interior though. I did really well, I think, with actually doing the floor plan layout and using stuff that when I looked up Second Empire style furniture, I think it matched pretty well. When I get towards the third floor, because this house actually has 3 floors, so it has the most bedrooms out of most of the builds that I have, and I've already started recording the Queen Anne build, which I used Queen Anne furniture mostly for that build, except for the I didn't use the wallpaper for Queen Anne because it was very limited. I actually just kind of went with some base game wallpaper. But yeah, laying out this whole thing was a lot. I don't really like to do these larger houses, especially on a small property, but I think it worked out in the end. It Again, I wish there were more options with the crowning, and that's the first time I probably said that. Usually it's the windows and all this other kind of stuff. But yeah, the crowning was definitely, and the roof options were rough. Might go and see if there's any sort of like Sims 4 roof mods that would make roofing a little bit better or easier, but then again, I'd have to let people know. But yeah, you can see I kind of point over to that other house that has that kind of roof, and it's like they can do it in The Sims 4. I see it right there. How am I going to do it here? So I did like a variety of options with this build. As you can see, I'm messing with the roof quite a lot, trying to figure out how they got that like steep roof to a flat surface. And I end up going with this element of the roof and then the flat lean against the wall kind of thing. And you'll see that. I actually have this video on 300% speed, which made the video a little bit shorter than it needed to be. But because I spent so much time just trying to get this roof aligned, like it would be boring to talk about for however long I did this. I spent most of the time on the exterior on this roofing because I had to go and put individual elements for each thing instead of just slapping a roof on there and calling it a day. But I don't know. Sims 4 roofing definitely has some areas that need to improve. But I did get it. Like this whole side of the house, I think I got the mansard roof pretty well. With the steep roof going up to it. It's the other side of the house that I had such an issue because I couldn't get the right element, so I ended up just like not doing it, which looks weird to be honest, and I'm not too happy with it, but I was getting really frustrated and gave up in the end. And you'll see that. Like, I'm just like, you know what? We're just going to make this whole piece its own thing. So it doesn't look exactly like the picture. I think there's a lot of differences between my build and the picture. And that's just because there's a lot of decoration that the original picture had that you can't really do in The Sims 4, or the crowning was too large. I wish there was a way to like select a crowning that's like this crowning but like smaller. But again, like you have to have like the tall roofs, or the not the tall roofs, the tall ceiling or walls. There we go. There's the word. To get it perfectly like done. Getting this to like line align because you need to match the shingles, and I had to like go back up and go back down, go back up, go back down. Like that one, it aligned perfectly, and then the other ones didn't really. So you can see me messing with that a lot, trying to just get it perfectly aligned, and that whole side works amazing. It's the other side that I had major issues trying to configure. Honestly, I think I could have fixed it by not having so much like change with it, but I don't know. I spent a lot of time on this roofing. It's the tools that you have for roofing is very tedious. So yeah, this is the area that I had the biggest issue trying to get that extension there you see. Which honestly, like if I had to go in and actually put in the rooms for that, I think it would have been a real pain in the butt. So it's kind of good that I just end up extending it, especially for laying out the interior. Because you always know that like I have issues getting the interior perfectly aligned and pretty. So when I did it this way, I think it was a lot better. And I already recorded the video of putting in all the furniture for this, and I've started recording the next build, which finally is Queen Anne. So you'll see those come out in the next couple of days. So I just need to record the voiceover for them. So yeah, here I am putting in the like the higher roofs and realizing, oh my goodness, I still have it on the lower trim. Like I need to put this in. And I'm really glad that I realized that when I did, because if I didn't, then I would have had to do a lot more detail work on this whole area. And then yeah, extending the roof there. So it was a lot of work. Like I'm like, okay, I got this whole area like perfectly aligned, and then it wasn't. So I was like, oh great, we're gonna have to figure this out. So it worked out in the end, and like I'm looking at it, and it's like you have that back piece that's kind of an extension, so it's similar to the side piece that's an extension, and I was able to get it to work, but I could not for the life of me get the other side to work. So this piece was kind of annoying because you see that little triangle there, and I couldn't really get rid of it or do anything about it. So it's like, whatever, I'm just gonna leave it there. Nobody's gonna really notice. And if they do, then you try and fix it. I don't know. But yeah, you'll see after I finish. Oh, this took me forever to align. It was work. It was very frustrating work. I just up, down. And I knew that like if the shingles like shifted up so much, like it wasn't a lot, like I knew which way it had to go based on where the shingles lined up. But it took me forever. And all that work, and it still I didn't even need that piece in the end. So, yeah. It was a frustrating piece. So here's where you'll see me have major issues with this whole piece. And I think the way I could have fixed it is just widen that a little bit, but I didn't, and so here we are. It was a lot. So yeah, just trying to get this triangular shaped piece, and I did a variety of different options on what I could do to kind of rectify the situation on it. But like I tried like, okay, you know what, we're just gonna put a flat piece on either side, and I thought that looked really weird. So I was like, and it didn't match with a lot of the roofing ideas. So I was like, all right, you know what? This is just going to be its own thing. Honestly, I feel like I should have just cut this whole piece out, but it wouldn't be true to my videos. I don't know. But yeah, I tried so many options trying to get this to like look like good. I think this is the closest I got, and then I was like, you know what? We're just going to call it a day. Man, I messed with this for a good amount of time. And yeah, here I am, as I said, extending that piece and being like, you know what, we're done with that. And I even tried again. Like, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to move over here and work that way and see what happens. It didn't work well. Yeah, this roof probably took most of the time. Like, I think half this video is just going over the roofing alone. Uh, And it was a lot of work. Like, it's the roofing something like this is tedious. So just imagine like somebody who made these base game builds on a lot of the other houses in the vampire neighborhood, like Cursed Hollow, I think, or something like that. I can't remember. Cursed Hollow is a game that I played, but somebody doing all that work, and they roofed a lot of these houses, and they're a lot better than me because this is tedious. I was getting frustrated, and I was like, I almost like stopped right here and be like, you know what, I'm done for the day. Like, talk to you later. I'm done. But I end up finishing the exterior and then recording the interior. Again, you'll see in the next video, I do really like how the interior turned out. I used a lot of the vampire expansion pack tool. So I look over and I realize that they didn't even like make the slanted roofs that the pictures had a lot of. That's interesting. Okay. So I didn't have to do that, but I wanted to because it matched the build a lot better. But again, if you look over to the side or at any of the other vampire neighborhood houses, again, they're all Second Empire style with a little elements of Italianate. It's kind of interesting that now I'm kind of like knowing a little bit more of like styles of houses. But I don't know. I'm really excited to do Queen Anne, finish up the Queen Anne house. It's a lot smaller of a house because shaping a lot of the Queen Anne, because I even looked up like full on floor plans instead of just going off of like a picture and just saying, okay, we're going to try and do this picture. I actually found a picture with a floor plan for the Queen Anne, and a lot of them were, you just couldn't replicate them in The Sims because of partly the roofing tool to the shaping of the rooms. Like some of them had like these circular rooms and couldn't really do that. After Queen Anne will be shingle, and the picture that they have on like one of my references, I don't know. We'll see where I go with that. It seems like you just use kind of a different style thing. A lot of them like match with the terrain. I'm kind of excited to get more into like the 1900s because they have a lot of like the previous things but renewed. So like there's like colonial revival. Tudor revival will be really exciting to do because a lot of one of the neighborhoods have Tudor revival style houses. French revival is going to be kind of boring. Spanish colonial will be really hard, but I think it'll turn out really cool. I can't even say that. Here I am going to try and pronounce something. Pueblo revival. That's going to be really cool. I'll probably do both the Spanish colonial revival and the Pueblo revival in the Strangerville because the landscaping matches that a lot and a lot of the stuff there. Then we're going to do Craftsman, which I actually have a Craftsman style house already up, and when I did the Craftsman style house, I actually got really excited because a lot of people downloaded that one, and that one kind of inspired me. Well, what if I did like YouTube videos, because I like to build these houses, and it gives me something just other than building houses in The Sims and uploading them. So I have a Craftsman already on my gallery, but I'm going to probably do a video for it. And then we also have modernistic. The picture that I have for my reference is rough. I'm probably going to go something a little different than that. Then we have international. Ranch style is the final one. So those are just the videos that you can be looking out for, and they'll be up next. But I don't know. Once I get past like these houses were rough. They were hard. There was a lot to them. And just the floor plan, trying to get the Sims to match, it was a lot. And their houses are rather large, so it's kind of hard to do that. So now I'm actually putting in those, what are they called? I think, I don't know what they're called, but putting those little windows in, and because you'll see that in the original picture they had a lot of them. I don't have the pillar that the front thing has, like the big mansard roof, because by the time I was done with that whole section, I was like, I'm not doing that. Like, that's just too much. They can deal with it, because it was a lot. Like, you saw how much time that just putting those roofs in, and that was on 300% speed. So like think how long that took, like real time. Yeah, so this crowning, I end up going with this darker one, and honestly, I think I might go back and change that because I don't really like the contrast that much. I don't know. I wish because I used that crowning versus the other one that had the more cream style because it fit better. But I don't know. I might fix it and just put the cream style in. So then putting the patio on, and then I'm going to raise it onto a foundation. They didn't have any like the type, like they had like the picture had like the black, or it had black with like a brown or white like accent to it, but they only have like white with different accents. So that's kind of what you get, because you know Sims 4 is limited and it's not like the Sims 3 where you can change different things. Hey, I hadn't said it yet. So I had to say it. Pillars were very limited because they had a lot of different contrast colors, and so the best contrast I could get was this brown. But I ended up matching a lot, like the staircase and some of the other stuff to it, so it worked out in the end. Yeah, I wanted to match the staircase with the foundation, and didn't match too well. It was really hard to get these browns to match, and then of course you have the green. So there's a lot of different colors involved, and that's not something I would usually like. So again, this is kind of what you get. It could have been a lot better, but yeah. And then it was like I had this darker staircase to try and match it to that, and it didn't work. So it's like, you know what, we're just gonna put this in. I don't know why when you put in fences it changes the staircase completely, but yeah, that's what you get. Or not the staircase, the foundation. Words, they're hard sometimes. But yeah. And then I had to put that back in. Putting the roofing and crowning on that portion. So this crowning I liked better because it matched better than the other large crowning. Yeah, you'll see me go back and forth, and I'm like, well, could I do white? But it didn't really match because it was supposed to be more of a cream color. So again, you kind of get what you get. This fencing kind of adds some more decoration to it. I wish it was a little bit larger and a little bit more noticeable, like the original picture you can see on the top of the roof. But again, you get what you get, and that's kind of what we got. I wonder, in this video, I don't think I start laying out the floor plan in this video. And I think next video is more when I will lay out the floor plan and start furnishing it. And I think that the next video actually is pretty short compared to this video, but because it's 3 floors, there was a lot to it. And you'll see that video tomorrow when it's uploaded. This video is actually being released 3 days after I actually did this voice recording because I am so ahead, like, with my recordings of the actual builds and the voiceovers. I'm pretty much ahead on it, so... Putting in all these windows. I actually didn't spend a lot of time switching through windows because I pretty much knew what I wanted to use, and I found it quickly. So I didn't, most of the time I like sift through windows like a lot. I'll put a bunch of windows on there, see how I feel about it, and then change it. But I pretty much found it perfectly. This part I did kind of wonder what I was going to use. I almost thought about taking out that little extra section and putting in one of these 3 style windows, but then we wouldn't have that crowning for it. So it's like, this is kind of what you got. Now that I look at that crowning, there's a piece off the corner where you see how like they have the decoration and then they don't. That frustrates me, and I don't know how to fix that. But I assume it has something to do with this little extension we have here. So I ended up putting these windows, which pretty much matched. I don't like how I have the white frame. I wish it was white with black interior, but again, you kind of get, you work with what you got. Sims 4 windows are limited. What do I always say? Oops, accidentally deleted that window. I end up, I think, using the move objects cheat to get that lined up. I hate that like it freaks out over a little piece, but you know, once I finish putting in this window, I pretty much conclude the video here, and then the next video you will see me furnishing this house. So thank you for watching. This build is already up on the gallery, and yeah, thanks.